Experiences can bring up a lot of trauma. But in truth, it's not your experiences, but what you believe about your experiences that can cause a lot of suffering. Causes a lot of suffering of the mind, because if you believe that because you were molested that you're not worthy of love, all these things can create a veil between you and your true nature. Um, Beliefs are very strong when it comes to, and separating when it comes to the truth of yourself. They're not favorable, and sometimes, just even recently, excuse me, um, where I had a situation with the dog. And so now, every time that I go outside or I'm going to a patient's home, I have a tendency that these feelings of apprehension are coming up. There's sensations that I'm putting a story behind them, because I'm like, oh no, not another dog. The mind wants to put attention on really things that are not there, because now it's just imagination. It happened, but since it's not happening in the present, it has a tendency to want to bring those experiences through the mind again. And so, not allow the mind to rest and be at ease and just enjoy the walk from my car to my patient's house. And every dog that I see, it's a tendency to be on alert, because I'm like, oh, is it a vicious dog, or, you know. But that's what I mean by trauma. It's replaying. Trauma is the mind replaying whatever experience over and over as if it was today. And that can cause suffering. So, in efforts not, or my intentions is not to continue to suffer over something that's not here today. It's just relaxing and realizing that right now there's no danger. Everything's beautiful. Just come to that moment in time where there's no suffering. Nothing's going on. The wind is blowing. There may be a dog over there, but he's laying, he's relaxing, he's not bothering me. So not allowing the mind to bring me under the belief that there's danger when there's no danger. Not that you're not to be cautious, because initially when dealing with suffering and traumatic experiences that you believe that were unfavorable, causes trauma, you can be still cautious. I mean, you go in certain neighborhoods, and if someone attacked you or raped you, what do you believe about that? Do you believe that they raped you? And if so, how was that? Or was it the vessel that was that these things happened to? Because if we believe that this is our body, it feels more real, or it feels if this trauma is justified. We have more attachment or more identity. We identify with the flesh or the body, or the experience is when trauma starts to come up. So a good way is just to chase that belief. When there's emotions rising up, there's a fear, you may see something and it causes these things to come up. Look at it and see, where is that coming from? What is the belief that's behind it? Because it's always going to be a belief that causes the fear. For instance, if there's a dog, well, that dog may bite me. Will he bite you? I mean, because if he's not being aggressive, 9 times out of 10, he's just looking, he's just over there playing, and all of a sudden we've drawn him into, our experience. When another person may look at them and they not even be bothered, not even think about them, just on to a new thought, such as what am I going to make later, or whatever, or just enjoying the breeze or the sensations. And so, yeah, when you look at that and you think, and then the reality, just look and see what's going on. If nothing's happening, then nothing's happening. You're not getting bit, the dog is not coming to you aggressively, then nothing is happening. And that's where we should keep everything, is in the now, in the moment. Now, if something's happening and like you look up and, you know, you notice that, yeah, there's some aggressiveness coming your way, do protect yourself. But nothing needs to happen if there is no immediate threat or danger. And so that's the way the mind has, when it comes to our experiences. It will make judgments on it. And then not only that, it wants to keep it fresh. Something may happen a day or two ago, or last year, 2 years. It seems like it's still trying to find its way up. It's because there's an identity to that experience. When you identify, oh, these, and there's a story behind it. It happened to me. I was this, I was embarrassed, I was hurt. Maybe I got cut, or, anything like that. Or if you had an automobile accident, every time you get behind the wheel, there's some anxiety coming up because of an experience. Well, the way to get through that is to be in the now. And if you can't, if it feels like something that is not able to be released, then trace back to, allow yourself to look at it and see what underlying belief you have about it. Well, I may get hit, I'm gonna get hit every time. Those are the nagging beliefs, which are really not true, because if it's not happening now, then it's not here today. No sense pulling that out of our imaginations, because anytime the mind revisits things, it's always going to be with a little bit more intensity than the actual event, the actual experience. It's going to be with more intensity. It's going to be colored in a different way, to really, where it tends to blow things out of proportion, magnify the experience to make it very traumatic after a while. So before you find that, okay, just a little shaken up, and then the more you think about it, it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. And that's the problem with revisiting experiences that were not so favorable. Or you get a little bit more upset about it. Maybe someone said something to you, and at the time you might have, if you identified with it, depends on how strongly you identify with whatever was said, where the emotion comes up. But of course, the more the mind brings it back up over and over, the intensity, it gets so big. Sometimes I can remember when I was younger, and we might have had some words, a friend and I, and back and forth, and I was able to let it go. But then the next day they come back, something else happens, and we're playing on the playground, and next thing you know, it's this big blow up, and you're like, what is going on? And it's because the mind has rehearsed it in their head over and over. And you might have let it go, but someone else might have held it, or you might have been the one that just held it a little longer than someone else. And that is the importance of, when it comes to suffering, and just letting go, just relaxing back into that oneness, that source of life, your true nature. attachments always cause suffering. When you're not able to let something go, when you're not able to just look at it and in truth, which is means anything that's phenomenal is amongst the changing. It's here today, it's gone tomorrow. Um, so we can let it go. It means it's nothing. If there's something traumatic, I'm not minimizing trauma. I'm not minimizing experiences that were unfavorable. I had my share, believe me. I'm not minimizing it, but to me, is it real today? Not at all. It's an experience that I can look back and I can appreciate, really, because without those experiences, I wouldn't be here today. I would be here, but maybe not aware that I'm here. And I'm enjoying, and I'm very grateful. I have so much gratitude in my heart to understanding or knowing myself, knowing that I'm here, knowing the difference between me and my mind, knowing the difference between me and my body, knowing the difference between me and my thoughts, knowing the difference between me and my experiences. I understand that the phenomenal is the changing. I understand that the mind comes and goes like the wind. I understand that everything we see is the source of life, and it's only forms that are apparently different from one another. But there is no separation between me and what you would consider you. There is no separation between me and the source. There is really no me or you. So I am grateful for all those experiences, because those experiences allow me to have more gratitude about the source of life, and to be aware of myself in truth. And so I never look back at experience and see as being trauma, and I'm so hurt, or I'm so, and believe me, I had some things that, that I've experienced that could have been looked at that way. I make sure whenever there's something that's bubbling up, because that's what the mind will have, it bubbling. The more you give attention to that, identify it, and then it just, it's like a cancer. It just, And so at that time is when we want to recognize. All it takes is the recognition of truth. I'm none of it. It wasn't traumatic, Yes, it was an experience I don't want to do again, but I learned from that. And it helped me be more aware of what's real and what's not. That's not, it helped me understand what I would like to invest my experiences in. I mean, you can learn from everything and from really everyone, whether they're aware of themselves or not. You can learn from everything, and you can find something to appreciate, even in the muck. Because the muck is going to make, when you're aware of yourself, shine so much more. And even when you're aware of yourself, things can happen. Because when I had that accident, it was a while. I drove better. It made me a better driver. And I was more aware of, people around me. When I would see them speeding up behind me, I would look. And sometimes I would honk my horn, because sometimes people are looking down. They don't know. They're looking at their phone. They don't know that you've stopped in front of them. I just honk my horn. It just made me a little bit more aware. I don't have to have trauma about it, but it can make me react with other beings in a more, productive way, to help everyone. Not to say you're going to avoid everything. I'm not trying to control all my environment based on these experiences, but I'm doing what I'm trying to respond in love, and that's all we can do. And if more experiences come that are not favorable, then, there's something to learn from that too. I'm not, running from unfavorable experiences, but I'm just going to learn from it and just stand firm on that, And so, yeah, this is what came up is it experiences that really causes the trauma, what we believe about them. That's what came up. And so I wanted to share that. And it's been a minute since I've been sharing. It's not that I haven't wanted to, it's just that we've been running around a lot. We went out of town and, just family activities, which is fun too. But wanted to be here with you all today. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Remember that you are beautiful and I love you.